Alright, to start chapter 3, we're going to start talking about parallel lines and transversals. So I'm sure you've heard that word parallel before. So parallel lines are two lines in the same plane that never intersect. So they run side by side. Yeah, they run side by side. That's kind of the thing you want to think about with parallel. So if I had line L and line M, like so, then I would say line L is parallel to line M. So that's the symbol we use for is parallel to. It's just two vertical lines. They're kind of skinny. That just means is parallel to. Now, it's possible for two lines to never intersect and not be parallel. Okay, that's why that in the same plane was a qualifier here. Two lines in different planes that never intersect are called skew. Now, this was harder for me, much harder for me to draw, okay, because it has to be a three-dimensional thing. An example that I always use for that would be the 50-yard line on the football field and the flagpole in the end zone. Okay, so if you think about that, or I could think about it as if I have a line on a plane. I'm just such a so bad at drawing. Like if I have this, and then I have the line that like pokes through the plane, those wouldn't ever intersect. Okay, but they're not parallel either. They don't run side by side. Okay, this is my kind of my favorite example. I'm trying to think of some other ones, but the difference between parallel and skew is 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. Okay, so now planes can also be parallel. Remember, planes are flat surfaces. So planes are flat surfaces that can also be parallel. So planes that never intersect floor and ceiling. Shelves on a shelving unit, the set of shelves. The front wall and the back wall of a room, anything like that. Now, the parallel postulate says through any given point not on a line. So let's just kind of stop right there and talk about that. So we've got a line and I've got a point not on that line. There is only one line that goes through point P that is parallel to line L. Okay, so there is exactly one line parallel to that line through this point. The only thing I can do would be that. Okay, and the same thing works with perpendicular. So our symbol for perpendicular to is, it looks like an upside down T, is perpendicular to. So if I have a line and a point not on the line, there's only one line perpendicular to my given line. We'll call that line L this time. There's only one line perpendicular to my given line that goes through point N. And perpendicular to just means at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so parallel and perpendicular and skew, those are the three pieces of vocabulary there we need to talk about. So after that, if you have another piece of vocabulary, here's this word transversal. So think about that prefix trans. Trans means across, transatlantic flight goes across the Atlantic Ocean. So a transversal is one line that crosses two other lines. The two lines don't have to be parallel. We would say that if this is line L, line M, line N, we would say line N is a transversal for line L and line M. Okay, so two lines that cross the other two. Now, if we make the two lines parallel, then some special stuff happens, and that's where we're headed with this ultimately. But you can have a transversal without having two of the lines be parallel. Alright, so this is the important stuff here, super important stuff. Alternate interior angles. So if you have two lines and a transversal, I'm gonna probably just, so we have two lines, not necessarily parallel, and a transversal. So actually, here's where I want to go. Let me just jump a little bit here. Okay, so I've got two lines, I've got a transversal. So the vocabulary that goes with this picture, so if they use the word alternate, okay, so I made 8 angles here. I numbered them similarly on purpose, but so if they use the word alternate, that's going to refer to which side of the transversal it's on. Okay, so we're usually talking about, let's compare one angle in this intersection with one angle in that intersection. Okay, so alternate has to do with which side of the transversal. Then you're also going to hear interior or exterior. So this would be outside, oops, I wanted that to be blue. This would be outside the two lines. This would be, sorry, it's terrible. This would be, oh my goodness, I switched it up. Interior would be inside the two lines. Exterior would be outside the two lines. So interior would be, let me get a nice thick one here. This would be interior. And then anything on the other, and that would all extend, would be exterior. Okay, so we're going to look back at our other file, and we're going to talk about, there we go, alternate interior angles. So if we have our our 8 angles, well, it didn't stop. Okay. So I've got 8 angles. Okay. Alternate interior. Angle 3 and angle 5 would be alternate interior because they are on alternate or opposite sides of the transversal. So opposite sides of the transversal and between the two lines. Okay, so they're the interior of the two lines, opposite sides of the transversal. Another pair of alternate interior angles would be angle 4 and angle 6. They would be alternate interior angles. They're opposite sides of the transversal. They are in between the two lines. So alternate interior. So alternate exterior. Okay, alternate exterior. Alternate, well, that's interior, that's not what I meant to do. So this, now I gotta go back at my pen. This is exterior and this is exterior. They are one on each side of the transversal and they are outside of the two lines. Okay, so alternate sides of the transversal, outside of the two lines. Your two lines could kind of be like this direction. Okay, so then this is your transversal, alternate exteriors. There's an example of alternate exterior angles. Okay. Now, corresponding angles. So again, we're always talking about one from each set of the intersection. So we're looking at, let's get here. One from this intersection, one from that intersection. Corresponding one interior, one exterior, same side of the transversal. Now, to me, that's a little bit confusing or just a lot of words. I sometimes also talk about it as the same relative position of the intersection. Okay, so maybe if I'm talking about, if I make these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again, you know, angle 1 and angle 5 are both kind of upper left. They're kind of on the left side of the transversal. They're above each of the other two lines. You know, angle 2 and angle 6 would be corresponding angles. Angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding. Angle 4 and angle 8. Okay? Now, depending on your textbook, they're either going to call it consecutive interior angles or they're going to call it same side interior. Same side interior is actually kind of a little more straightforward, but so, whoops, jump. So, same side interior. Okay, so has to be interior. Those two would be same side interior. Obviously, the other two would also be same side interior. Okay, this one and this one, the two green ones would be same side interior. All right. So just a few quick little questions about some of that. We've got, you know, identify all planes that are parallel to plane ABC. Now, plane ABC is, let me go with that light color here, is like the top of the box. So what's parallel to the top of the box? The bottom of the box. Okay, so we just need to name that plane. So remember, we name planes with 3 points. We have to write the word plane, and then we use 3 points. We just have to use any 3 of these 4. Okay, I can do in any order. GHK, THK, TGK, doesn't matter. They're all the same thing. Okay, so parallel planes. The next question asks all segments that are skew to TK. Now this is where it gets a little harder to see. You know, pick up a box or something if you're at home doing this and think about it. I usually use a tissue box or something. Skew means never intersecting but also not running side by side. So if we look at it, this one, and this one, those are actually all parallel. They would be parallel to the red one, not skew. Okay, they don't ever intersect, they actually run parallel. The ones that are skew would be like this one. Okay, so segment DH, or this one, segment CG. They're the bottom ones, if we think about it. Erase them. There we go. That one intersects, so it's not parallel or skew. This one intersects at K, but these up top do not. Those would never intersect, but they don't run side by side. Okay, as well as, whoops, I didn't really mean to erase the red one, as well as BC. Also, this one and this one would also be skew. Okay. Now, parallel to KG, here's KG. So parallel to KG would be, we'll go purple. All 3 of those. So TH, A, D, and E, C. Okay, so parallel, intersecting, and skew. I need to stop there for a minute, and I will pick it up where we left off.